What is up? What is up? What is up? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wealth Wednesday. Happy Wealth Wednesday for us night here in St. Louis. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful Wednesday like I am. It feels like it's Tuesday all week for some reason. Maybe we can figure out how it had six Tuesdays and a Sunday would be a cool way to go. So, um, to connect with me, you'll see I've got a really cool website that I came up with. It's actually my name. It's called forrestknight.com. Got all my connection stuff on there. If you'd like to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagrams, you can go there and connect with me. Absolutely cool deal there. So, I wanted to talk about how to get rid of toxic people in your life, uh, and be able to love them from a distance, or be able to remove toxic people from your life with love. Now, some of them, and I'll qualify this with, some of them don't need to be removed with love. Some of them you just need to tell them to get the heck out of Dodge. I'm going to use some analogies here that are some of my famous analogies. Hey, Keith Anderson, what's going on? I'm going to use some analogies to maybe get you to realize that you might be the one walking around with some toxic stuff going on yourself. So we'll talk about that and looking at yourself as remember, in any relationship there's always two people. I think I'll turn this light off up here. In any relationship there's always two people. So thanks, Keith, really appreciate it. So if you are on YouTube, catching this on YouTube, appreciate it if you subscribe and do the thumbs up. Unless you absolutely just hate my mug, then well, just don't watch. If you're over on the Instagrams and you're catching this on Instagram TV, it'll be a replay, because I haven't figured out how to stream to Instagram from this platform yet. So really appreciate it. Of course, if you're here on the Facebooks, love, like, and share, I guess is what you call it. Over on LinkedIn, feel free to chime in. I should be able to see your comments depending on what platform you're on. If you comment below, except Instagram TV, which is going to be on replay for sure. So having some fun today. Got up this morning, turned on my little trading app here and started looking at some trades and having a little bit of fun. So it looks like I'm up $82 for the day so far, and not mad about that at all. So I'm actually learning this stuff, and it is cool to be my age. Believe it or not, I got all the gray here and going on. My wife tells me I need a haircut because I've got the poofy sticking out the side of my hat and got the big gray afro going on. So definitely got to get over to the barber and get trimmed up so I don't look so shaggy. So anyway, what does all that have to do with removing toxic relationships? Absolutely nothing at all. Just wasting a little bit of time here, just having some fun. So toxic relationships. Now, a couple of things we need to look at in the scheme of what is a toxic relationship. And I'm not going to go all down that rabbit hole, right? Typically, a toxic relationship isn't somebody that just disagrees with you. Some people say, "Oh, they're a hater because they don't agree with my point of view." Well, no, they just simply don't agree with your point of view. Doesn't make them a hater. Or they don't agree with your business model, doesn't make them a hater. It just means they either don't understand it, or otherwise, unless they come at you just really weird and dropping cuss F bombs and things all over the place. It's not true. So I'm gonna paint a little bit of a story with you. A lot of people nowadays are walking around with broken crap, right? We got this bag of broken that we carry around with us, and it's like, for some reason, the broken store opened up, and it's like national. You know how we had Generation X and Generation Y? Well, this seems to be Generation Dysfunctional. Everybody seems to be dysfunctional, and I think you can run down to the dysfunctional store and buy a bag of broken and carry it around with you. Just broken this and broken that, and dysfunctional this and dysfunctional that, and everybody's got some kind of label on them somewhere, and you're either ACHD or ABCD or ACDC or in what do you call it? An introvert or an extrovert or a middle vert or whatever. Somebody's putting labels on themselves, right? Everybody's got to have a label of something. I'm a this or I'm a that, and if you don't agree with this, then you're not a that, or if you're anti this, then you're pro that, or if you're pro this, means you're anti that. So just a lot of toxic dysfunction overall, right? And some of it you can just say, I am rubber, you are glue, bounce off me and poo on you, right? And it sounds crazy. It sounds like a kid's rhyme, but it's really a mental process of, I'm just not going to take. It's almost like turn the other cheek. If you want to go to the biblical side, it's like turn the other cheek, right? And just don't pay attention to people. But there are some people that are in your life, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, siblings, um, you know, people are close to us, husbands, spouses, wives, that are just toxic, right? That are just not need to be around us. Maybe they're ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever. Hey Jenny, and they're just toxic. So I want you to picture this. I want you to picture this because it's if you're trying to grow a business on in any kind of business anywhere, and you're walking around with a bunch of toxic crap wrapped around your neck, people are going to be repelled by that. And I'm going to give you a really cool analogy here of what this looks like. And I apologize if I don't want to get emotional. Hopefully we don't have a bunch of people crying here. I'm just going to use some colorful analogies, and I want you to use this. So let's go back to being little kids. Let's go back to being younger. And that's usually where a lot of this stuff happens. It happens when we're kids because we're very impressionable and we see one thing a certain way and we assume something is another way or whatever. So we pick up a lot of this stuff. So in our life, let's say we're the little kid, and let's say we have a single parent or whatever kind of parent whatever you want to call them. You have this parent, and for some reason the parent tells you to go out and stand in the driveway, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it's like, you stand there, don't you dare freaking move. And you're standing in the driveway, and she backs up. He or she, the parent, backs up with this big dump truck load full of sugar, honey, and iced tea. If you don't know what that means, that's shit. Crap, right? Sorry, I cussed word, forgive me. It's manure, right? This dump truck full of manure. And she's just like, you deserve this. And she dumps that dump truck load and dumps it up on you, and you're just covered with crap. You've got all this crap on you. So it stinks, right? All this stink is stuck to you, and you're standing there in the crap. Now, as little kids, some little kids will get out of the crap and be like, you know, what was that, right? Some of us will choose to take that from our parents, whatever that is, and just live in that, right? So how do we as adults move out of that dump truck load of crap, right? Out of that crap. How do we get out of that? So we can go take a shower, we can wash it all off, and we can get out of the crap. But what happens for some reason, some of us think, right, believe that because that was our parents that gave us that crap, that we got to carry that around. So what we do is we run back to the load of crap. We get a big Ziploc bag, a big one, like a Coach over the shoulder bag size type of Ziploc, right? And we scoop up the crap and we put it in the bag and we carry it around with us, and a little bit of it spills out and it gets on us, and we have stank on us. We're walking around with stank attitude because we chose to go back to the crap pile and pick it up and carry it around with us, right? We're carrying this bag of crap around with us, and we can't figure out why people don't want to be around us, right? We can't figure out why people are repelled by us. Well, because we have stank. We have stank attitude. We stink because we're carrying somebody else's crap with us, right? Some of us may have not had a parent that dumped crap on us. Sometimes we just, like hell, I remember that dump truck full of crap that my mom dumped on me. I don't have access to that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down to the broken store and I'm going to buy a bag of crap, and I'm going to pay money for it. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to carry it around with me, and I'm going to share it with everybody. I'm going to share all my broken crap with everybody else, right? And it's an analogy that I'm using because, and again, I'm not taking away from physical abuse because that sucks. I'm not taking away from the mental abuse because that sucks. That's all that crap, right? We get to choose how long we want to share that with other people, right? We get to choose how long we get to share that with other people. So what does that have to do with my topic? I got the air conditioner on in here and the fan going. It's still hot. I've been killing stink bugs all day, and it's just like, it's invasion. So if you see me doing this and little suckers are attacking me, hopefully I don't have any in my hat. I got to go make a stink bug trap. I've been reading that on YouTube. It's pretty interesting how you can make a stink bug trap. Anyway, squirrel coming back. So how does somebody in our life that's had that dump truck full of crap poured on them, right? That's poured on them, and they chose to, rather than wash it off and get therapy or treatment, or maybe they decided to do drugs and alcohol or whatever it is, they're trying to hide the smell of crap and alcohol and drugs and maybe overeating or whatever it is, or maybe they're just just mean and abusive, and they figure like if I'm mean and abusive to everybody, I'll feel better about how I smell. And those people are in our lives, right? We're not the toxic ones. They truly are. They're just toxic because of whatever happened to them in the past, and they chose to pick that up and wrap it up, and they're carrying around, and you're just giving out toxic crap presents to everybody, right? So how do we walk away from this? How do we walk away from those toxic relationships? Well, two things. One, and I'm going to use a couple of analogies here. If you are currently in a relationship with somebody who is an active alcoholic or drug user, right? And you've been in that relationship for a while, you're going to become codependent on them. It's sort of like a child, right? You're going to become codependent on them. You might even pick up some of their assholeisms and carrying them around with you. Their stink's rubbing off on you, and you decided to say, hey, let me give me some of that crap in your Ziploc, and you decide to take it and carry it around with you. So what I would suggest, if you truly love this person, I'm not saying it's going to work, but this is a possible solution. If you truly love this person that's in an addictive state, whether they're, and I'm saying this, I've been sober 33 plus freaking years, worked as a drug and alcohol counselor, been to billion AA meetings, been there, done that, recovered, no longer have a desire to do any of that kind of crappy stuff anymore. Thank God, you know. And that's the reason I'm sharing this with you, because I know this works, right? So when you go to, if you're in that toxic relationship, right, in that relationship where you really truly love that person, other than the fact when they go into alcohol mode, they're just super butthead 3.0, right? I would suggest and recommend that you go to an open AA meeting or an open NA meeting. I would suggest AA first as the basis, because Narcotics Anonymous meetings are a little bit next level sometimes. Same 12 steps, but unless the person is a chronic, most of the time people are using drugs or drinking as well. I've run into a few drug addicts that just don't drink, which is weird to me, because I would drink all day long versus take drugs. But again, that was my drug of choice, right? So as you go through this, I would recommend, if you are a spouse or even a parent or a kid of someone that you have a relationship with that's an active drug abuser or active alcohol abuser that you know is an alcoholic, right? And you can tell, you know, if they just drink once a month, they're probably not an alcoholic. If they've ever said, man, I need to stop drinking, probably a sign that they know that they have a problem. I would recommend you go to an open AA meeting. You can go on Google and Google AA meetings in your area and find an open AA meeting. And I would start going to these meetings. I would buy the book. It's called The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It usually comes in a blue cover. And I would start reading that bad boy. And that's going to help you. And the whole goal of this, just understand this, the whole goal of you going to this meeting isn't for you to fix your spouse. It isn't for you to fix your dad. It isn't for you to fix your sister. It isn't for you to fix your husband or your wife. It's to fix you. It's to fix you, because I guarantee you, if you've been in that relationship any amount of time, you pick up some of their bag of crap and you're carrying it with you, and you need to go through them steps as a non-alcoholic, because you become codependent to figure them. So it's not me. Trust me, you have a problem too. If you've been in that relationship any amount of time, you're got some stank on you, right? You have some stank on you, and you need a system and a plan and a program that's going to get rid of that. What does it have to do with the toxic? This is all going to tie back in, right? So when you start working on you, right, when you start working on your issues, whatever that is that might be in the relationship, right, you're going to have some issues if you've been in that relationship any amount of time. Go to that open AA meeting, find one that's comfortable. There's lots of them around. Find one that you can feel comfortable in, because they have all different types of attitudes and places. Feel one you feel comfortable with. Go to that AA meeting, get a big book, right? And the cool thing about it, now here's the part that's really going to just like burn you to the core, is find a sponsor in that meeting. Women work with women, men work with men. Dysfunctional people have a tendency to be attracted to just other opposite sex dysfunctional people. Not a good mix. Men work with men, women work with women. Find a woman that can be your sponsor. If you're a teenager, they have Alateen that you can go to. Find something that's going to be recovery group so you can fix your ish, because you got some. Okay. So how do we separate ourselves in love from that person in a toxic relationship. So going back to this, you're going to your AA meetings, you're going through your Al-Anon meetings, you're going to those meetings that are going to help you recover. So you can look up AA, you can look up Al-Anon, you can look up Alateen. Those are really good sources. Get yourself a big book and start reading it, because you need to understand how we alcoholics operate, right? You need to know. You also need to realize that, ooh, my bad. That was me in that relationship. You need to fix your own ish too. You're not to go home and say, oh, you need to come to an AA meeting with me. You can simply say, I'm going to an AA meeting. Hey, babe, I'm going to be going to an AA meeting tonight. And they're going to say, why are you going to an AA meeting? Just for me. Just, I have some issues I need to work on, right? Go to the AA meeting. That's going to drive the alcoholic nuts, especially if he's controlling alcoholics. And like, I want to come. So, okay, are you sure you don't have to come? But yeah, you can come. And when they come to the meeting, I'm giving you some, oh my God, there's people just aren't going to listen to me because you think you're smarter than I am, right? You think like, oh, Forrest doesn't know what he's talking about. I do. I've been clean and sober for over 33 years. I sort of figured this stuff out a little bit, right? So I'm going to, oh my God, I'm going to put somebody in the headlock right now because you're not listening. Go to the meeting, participate in the meeting like you would. Let your spouse sit there if they want to sit on their hands, they want to identify themselves. Don't say anything to them. When you leave the meeting, do what you got to do at the meeting. They may say something to you about the meeting. Just say, you know, I'm going to these so that I can just work on me. Don't say like you need to do this or you need to do that or did you hear that or were they talking about you? Just go home. Thank them for coming to the meeting. Thank them for their support. They appreciate you supporting me and coming to the meetings, and just leave it there. No matter what they bring up, if they bring up something about the meeting, say, watch this. Say, you know, I really don't know because I'm sort of new at this stuff. Let's go, come with me to the next meeting and we'll find somebody that may be able to answer that question. Right? Just sort of like you, just like in network marketing, we say, you know, I really don't know that answer. Let's get my senior business partner on the phone and ask him and see. Again, you're getting a third party involved, because if you get involved and try to be their counselor or try to be their support person, you're going to screw it up. You're going to end up this massive freaking fight. Who knows where that's going to go, right? And it's going to be ugly. So use the system, use AA to help get them fixed. They're going to start smart alcohol. The biggest challenge with a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts is we're super stupid smart, right? We're too smart for our own good, and we're super intelligent, right? And we're also so intelligent that we talk ourselves into things that we don't realize, and we realize like, well, maybe I wasn't that smart, right? So there's some points in there. Get yourself a sponsor, go to some meetings, and fix your own ish, right? And if you happen to be an active alcoholic and you're listening to me right now, and you've ever thought to yourself, I need to drink less or I need to quit drinking, it's a pretty good chance you have a problem. You probably need to go to an AA meeting. Heck, you might even need to get into a rehab like I did. So just recommend that. So let's go back to the how to step away from somebody in a toxic that's in a toxic relationship, and maybe they're not an alcoholic, or maybe you decide you don't want to go to AA meetings, or maybe you're just tired and sick and tired and you're just out of love with this person, you don't want to deal with them anymore, right? So the conversation that you're going to have with them, and you want to do it in a point to where you're not in a confrontational mad situation. It needs to be a conversation. Maybe you can meet them at a coffee house or somewhere, you know, outside that's in a safe place, and say, I don't know, Jenny, can I use you? I'm going to use Jenny. And I'm going to say, Jenny, you know, I got some stuff I need to work. Now watch how I say this. I've got some stuff that I need to work on with me that I'm really dealing with. And I'm going to need to take care of me. So what I'm going to have to do is distance myself from you for a little while to work on those issues that I have. And I just want you to respect that. So I'm going to appreciate it if you just don't communicate with me for a while. You know, I would really appreciate that space, right? You've got to put it all on you, right? If they come guns a-blazing, if they go narcissistic on you, if they freak out on you, you just got to let it go and say, thanks for understanding. Thanks for supporting me. They're going to be yelling and cussing and freaking out. They may look at you like, what the hell's going on here? They may say, who are you cheating with? But, you know, it's going to be nothing to do with them at all. I guarantee you, if they're really screwed up, I almost used the F word. If they're really screwed up in the brain, if they're really screwed up, it's going to take you some really, just because you're going to want to fight. You're going to want to fight because you've been in that toxic relationship. You're going to want to come guns a-blazing back, and you cannot go there. You just say, hey, I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the space. If you truly love them, like they're a sister, somebody that you can't just divorce, like you can't divorce your sister. I literally had to block my sister's phone number because she was so radically toxic. I just, it was like even though I'm pretty bulletproof, I didn't want to carry that toxic thing around with me. And I was sitting down sorting through pictures, and I'm going to cry. I was sitting through pictures, and I was looking at pictures and remembering how she was as a little girl. And I'm like, man, I wish I had my little sister back. I was trying not to do this, but again, it's being able to love them from a distance is the most important part of fixing you, so that you can move on, so that you can be happy, so that you can have positive relationships with the rest of the freaking planet that's just as dysfunctional as everybody else, right? So that you can move on and you can get into a good marriage, you can have a good relationship with your kids, you can have a good relationship with the other people in your life. And when people go toxic on you, it's very, very hard to walk away from that, because sometimes we take the blame, we take the responsibility for that relationship. And a lot of times it's a little bit of us, right? If you, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a very, very good book to read to understand being dependent, codependent, and interdependent, right? And as somebody that's in a toxic relationship, a lot of times we become codependent, and we pick up some of their bags of crap and we carry it around with us, right? We rub their stank all over us, and we're just as stanky as they are. Sometimes we're worse because we've been hurt by somebody we love. So we even go more toxic, right? We go toxic, flame on toxic, and we're just as toxic as they are. So there's a combination in that type of deal, is that we need to go through recovery. We need to fix ourselves. We need to get ourselves on the right side of the street. And I would recommend that you get into some type, if you've been in an abusive relationship, go to some type of recovery group, some type of support group that can help you get through that process. If you're currently in an abusive, physically abusive relationship, contact somebody that can get you out of that before you freaking end up dead. Okay, very, very important that you do that. Don't reach out to me because I don't do that stuff, but reach out to a support line, somebody in your town that can find you some support, that can get you out of that relationship and get you in a safe place, and hopefully get that other person fixed so that they don't end up doing something that's going to regret, hurt you or your family or your kid. So hopefully I brought some value today in terms of getting out of toxic relationships. If you're planning on building an empire and the reason I wanted to share this with you is because a lot of times we're stuck with a lot of baggage, and we're trying to go out and save the world, and we can't take off, or red cape won't fit around our neck, and we can't even get into the phone booth because there's so much crap in it. We've got to get rid of that crap first. If we're going to go out and make a big impact on the world, we got to deal with that stuff. We got to forgive ourselves. We got to forgive the people that are around us. We've got to make amends to some people sometimes. That's a whole nother talk, and how to do the amends and the right amends at the right time at the right place. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to work on ourselves if we're going to go out and make a big impact on the planet, and we're going to be able to be a light of attraction, right? Be a light of attraction versus a light of promotion. So if you want to attract the right people into your life, then we need to fix our ish that we have carrying around with us. And sometimes it's the stank of a toxic relationship, and we need to get that off of us so that we can go out and make a powerful impact. I love you. Jesus loves you. Absolutely nothing to do about it. I'm on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators, make an extreme impact, and be an equity creator. Thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.